Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
Powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena, this is the Morning Sports Desk. I'm CJ Baumgartner, Corey Tackman over there. Corey, before we get started today, you have a big revelation that you want to share with the masses when it comes to the top place to get chicken wings in Wadena.
So we went to Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade last night for supper. My wife thought that I had a volleyball game for the evening.
Mm-hmm.
So she got home. She had got home from school, went straight to a dentist appointment, came home from the dentist, and she's like, "Why aren't you ready to go to your volleyball game?" And I was like, I got nervous because she's a much better schedule keeper than I am. I was like, "What volleyball game? I don't know. Do I have a volleyball game tonight?" She goes, "Don't you?" "I don't think so. I have no volleyball game to go to tonight." And she goes, "Oh, I don't have supper planned. Should we go to the Pizza Ranch?" I was like, "Yeah, duh."
You before she even finished that sentence, Corey was already in the car and it was running. And he's like, "Let's go.
Let's go to the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in downtown Wadena." So that's where we went. And God bless my wife. She stood in line. I took the boys to go find a spot to sit. She stood in line and got us all checked in, registered, whatever. And she came back with one of those buzzers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
"What's this for?" She goes, "I ordered your stuffed crust pepperoni that you like." I'm like, I love you so much. That's amazing. And then we saw Zach. And Zach goes, "Hey, we got these new wings. Do you want to try some new wings?" And I was like, "Zach, shut up. Like, why don't you just have them in your hand already?"
Again, couldn't say yes fast enough. Before he even finished the sentence, Corey Tackman already had a bib that had a little chicken on it. And he's like, "Let's go."
I was just taking W after W all evening long. And he shows up and he goes, "These are our new wings. They're hot honey." And I was like, this sounds incredible. And let me tell you what, they're the best wing that I've had in a really, really long time. I like the honey flavor. And then they got a little bite to it also. I mean, hot honey's like kind of popular right now. Like we're putting it on pizzas and pork and just kind of whatever.
Yep.
And let me tell you, as a wing sauce, holy buckets, it was amazing. So they're on their wing night in the buffet. So make sure you check it out. Just order them. The hot honey wings, traditional, from the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. They were marvelous. They were so good.
I mean, talk about presentation. Look at these things, Corey.
Yeah, no, those are my wings. Those are my wings, and a cup of ranch to go along with it. They're so good. And then, oh, by the way, I do need to mention, since you're there and since we were there and we took part in the FunZone Arcade, they are doing the ultimate prize giveaway, CJ. A chance to win a Nintendo Switch 2 and a 50-inch TV. All you need to do is have a FunZone Rewards account. If you already have one, you're already entered. If you don't have one, get one, and you are officially entered, and you have until the end of the month. So go there, send the kids into the FunZone Arcade, and you order yourself some hot honey wings, and you will be I've been thinking about them since this is not hyperbolic. They're the best. They're really good.
You would say the best wings in town, bar none.
Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade, setting me and you and us together up the right way.
Again, you can get great wings, you can play great games, and also for playing those great games, you can put in an ultimate prize giveaway to get a Switch 2 and a big old TV to go with it. What more do you want? It's the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Hint, 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 by the way, secret announcement.
Mm-hmm.
There's another new sauce coming soon.
What? You can't just wait till the very end? Was this like a Marvel post-credits scene or something?
I'm just saying, I'm a professional and I've been told things, and there's a new secret sauce coming soon. I can't tell you what it is. Do you know why?
Why?
because he doesn't even know what it is.
Ooh, the suspense builds.
It's that secret, but it's coming soon.
This is a post-credit scene where the barbecue wings are standing there, and all of a sudden it shows them looking into a doorway, and their face is just like, and then boom, it just cuts to black, and then you just see on the screen, Hot Honey Barbecue Wings will return to Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade every Thursday in Wadena.
They're really good, man.
And then it goes plus one more.
And they're like big, fat, juicy, like hearty wing. You know, sometimes you go places and you're like, these are chick wings, not chicken wings.
Yes.
These were full grown chickens.
As Corey likes to say, he likes a little meat on them bones, and he wants to see that when he gets his chicken wings.
Delicioso.
You just provided some great ASMR for people who are just listening on audio only. People who are watching on video are just a little creeped out, but it's okay. That's just how much we enjoy wings here on the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. It's why you also should watch on YouTube when you type in Morning Sports Desk or Hubbard Radio Wadena or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, Corey.
You can see me lick my fingers like a weirdo.
If you're into that kind of thing. Yesterday, there was a non-conference, non-section volleyball match between Wadena, Deer Creek, Staples-Motley. Corey, there's a couple things about this rivalry that just I felt was interesting going into this game. One, it's the first time that these two teams have ever played at the Nest.
Mm-hmm.
Last time they played was in Staples was in 2022,
Mm-hmm.
and it was or 2023, and it was a victory for Staples-Motley. Staples-Motley in the last 3 times they played was 2-1 against Wadena, Deer Creek. And I looked, it was like, yeah, these two teams just play each other every year. That's just how things go. And then I kind of was like looking back at the recent history, and I was like, since Wadena Deer Creek left the Mid-State, which was the 2015 school fall,
yeah,
they hadn't played Staples-Motley until 2021, which was post-COVID, which was kind of crazy to think about, which, you know, scheduling things get here and there. I get it. Things happen. You know, it just was what it was. But it was like, these two teams should be playing each other every year, just with the Highway 10 rivalry and things like that. And it's just a fun, these two teams always are evenly matched and ready to roll and have a good game. So that was just a couple things I found fascinating coming into this game. We previewed the game. We talked about, you know, Staples-Motley trying to work through some youth. They're playing everybody. They're reworking some rotations. So is Wadena Deer Creek Wolverines trying to get that balanced scoring going. And when you look at everything kind of going back, that balanced scoring did show up for the Wolverines. Leading the night was Peyton Gravel with 11 kills. Jada Dykoff had 6. You had 4 from Kennedy Ness, 4 from Tori Malik, 3 from Celia Renio. But it was the service line where Wadena Deer Creek really had a nice game. 5 service aces from Kennedy Ness, 3 from Leah Kircher, 2 from Ashley Pavick. We also had a couple from Avery Lipinski and Peyton Gravel and Alyssa Carr, 1 from Jada Dykoff. So just a really good night for the Wolverines on the service line. And in turn, if you're the Cardinals, you know, if one team is having a great night from the service line, it means your serve receive just, you know, wasn't where you wanted it to be that night. And that's kind of the thing for the Cardinals. They just, you know, made a few mistakes here or there, and it just ended up compounding. And that second set, Wadena Deer Creek got up 6-2. Staples-Motley then went on a 15-5 run in the set, and it looked like, okay, here we go. They're going to steal set 2, and now we got ourselves a match, and let's see what happens. And they were up 24-19, and then the Wolverines came storming back at the end to tie it. We go to extra points. Wolverines end up taking that second frame. And then, you know, I mentioned it during the broadcast, there's just a point where, you know, you felt like you were up. You thought you were going to win that one. Now it doesn't quite go your way, and now you're down 2-0. And there's just a lot of air that can come out of the balloon naturally. It's nobody's fault. Like, it just is nature of the match. You just emotionally kind of drain yourself in that set that goes to extra points. And it can be hard sometimes to refocus, whether you're the team that won or lost the set. It can be hard to refocus. And the Wolverines just were able to do that a little bit better than the Cardinals. And they go up to win 3-0 in this matchup. So with the victory, the Wolverines now improve to 7-4 on the season. Staples-Motley goes to 4-10. The Cardinals, they're going to go to Breckenridge, always a tough Heart of Lakes Conference matchup there with that program. That'll be Thursday. Wadena Deer Creek plays conference matchup in Monaga. Both of those 7:15 first serves, 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7:15, somewhere in there. So, by the way, we got a full write-up coming up, WadenaRadio.com, Superstation K106 mobile app, Sports Cow on Facebook is where you can find that write-up, Moo. And Corey, we also have a big moo for all of the cross-country coverage that Zeke has been shredding up at WadenaRadio.com, the Superstation K106 mobile app, and Sports Cow.
Moo.
There was a big night of cross-country, and Zeke obviously yesterday was there, was on the show talking about all this great stuff and the things that were happening in those meets in Bagley and in Melrose. And in Bagley for Parker's Prairie, Nora Frosley ends up having a really great race. She ends up winning that one. Parker's girls as a team takes second. Park Rapids boys finishes in the top 4 in that meet. And then when you go to the Melrose invite, kind of Bertha Hewitt leading the way in that one as Brady Rock had 5th place race as the team ended up, trying to figure things out there. And you had Sox Center having a really good night, as Sox Center does. So a lot of big things happening there in that one. I don't want to spoil everything. Zeke has the full write-ups. He's been our cross-country correspondent, and just go check it out over at The Cow.
Moo again.
All right, Corey, moving into our state sports here. We are looking at a Twins season that, let's just say, has gone down the tubes in a lot of different ways. Not only with the trade deadline, and then you also had the kind of rug getting pulled from underneath the fans with the POHLADS keeping the team. And there was a little bit of a crossroads, right? When it said, like, okay, the POHLADS are bringing in 2 minority owners, they are going to funnel in a lot of money, and that essentially is going to get the team out of the $425 million debt that they were in, and was probably the biggest reason why they were trying to sell the team, is to get out of that debt. And now once they're out of that debt, people said, okay, I don't think there was a huge chunk of the fan base, Corey, but there was a little bit of the fan base that was like trying to talk themselves into something where, like, okay, well, now that the books are clean, maybe we'll see a little bit of spending go up now that the Twins are out of that debt. And maybe there's a chance the team will spend a little bit going into next season now that and whatever anybody thought of that got dashed once again, as the Twins, by the way, were losing 9-0 to the Yankees. And then eventually the Twins ended up losing 10-9. But either way, you lose to the Yankees last night. In the middle of that loss, Corey, Dan Hayes of The Athletic drops a little scoop that the Twins are gutting their pro scouting department. Now, originally, Dan Hayes reported that they were firing everybody, and then there was a quick note. The Twins were eliminating 4 of their 5 pro scouts, so they are keeping 1, and they are eliminating 4 of the 5 kind of pro scouting staff that they had. And basically, all it says here is a move that one league source described as part of a cost-cutting measure by team ownership. They say the terminations were telegraphed by a significant reduction in scouts' travel budget in recent years, and they learned on Tuesday that their positions would not be renewed, one of which is a longtime pro scout who is in his 39th season as a scout, 15th with the club. Another was Justin Manuel, who was formerly editor-in-chief of Baseball America, one of the big kind of scouting and prospect kind of publications and things like that. So basically, I know that it on the surface, again, it doesn't sound like the biggest thing, but it's just kind of another notch in the chain, another link in the chain of just kind of ways to suck optimism out of the fan base here. What do you think, Corey?
Well, I guess this is a part of baseball that I, generally speaking, haven't cared much about in my life. Like, what I care about is the product on the field. That has always been first and foremost where my fandom kind of resides. And I even include, now we talk about guys like Walker Jenkins and some of the guys in the minor leagues, but I generally, even speaking there, don't really care much about those guys, because like, I want them to be good eventually, and I want them to help the major league club eventually whenever they can. But until then, they're not. So what do I have? Like, it's not a concern of mine necessarily. It is not the way I typically like ingest the game of baseball and sports as a fan. That being said, I did have a couple of questions that came up from this. And so one of the questions stems from a little conversation we had last night via text message. But the question was, is this a team, or is this a thing that's happening across Major League Baseball in general because of the way the game is played and some other technologies that exist? Are other teams cutting their pro scouting department? Is that just the way that baseball is moving? Or is this, and does this land firmly and completely in the circle of, this is an ownership group that has given up the ownership. This ownership group, the Twins to the POHLADS, are their pair of lawn mowing shoes. They're a pair of shoes they don't care about anymore. They don't care if they get green. They don't care if they get wet. They don't care if they get holes in them. They don't care if they get dirty. They're going to get thrown away eventually anyway. Where does this land in your perspective?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of both, right? So, like the conversation we had yesterday, this is something that had kind of been happening. This doesn't come exactly out of nowhere, as Dan Hayes reports, and it's just kind of things have gone on. The Twins have leaned less on the pro scouting department. Basically, they cut travel to road games and requiring them mainly to do video-based scouting. And this is the thing, right? Like a lot of it with technology now, back in like the 70s, you needed a bunch of scouts to go watch games because you couldn't watch them. Like they were just not available to be seen. So you needed to have somebody go and report to you what they saw. Now, as much with video, it's a lot easier to watch things, and a lot of the advanced tracking analytical things that are in not just every major league ballpark to see launch angle and velocity and the spin rate and things like that. But also you can see that in minor league ballparks. The Twins had set it up in theirs. A lot of other minor league teams have done that as a way basically to get that instant data, and the front office can have it like as soon as they want, and these scouts can look at it. So it is a little bit of a trend that teams are like, we don't really need as many in-person people, with the technology essentially kind of simplifying and streamlining and all the corporate buzzwords, the process. And in fact, this article does mention that the Chicago Cubs 10 months ago drastically reduced their pro scouting department as well. So it is a thing that has been kind of happening, and the Twins aren't the only team to do it. They won't be the only team to. And I think where it kind of comes in the sense of is that basically the Twins, here's where, that's the part where it looks like this has kind of been a trend across baseball. Here's the part where now we can just go back to the POHLADS and doing what they need to do. With their new business arrangement, and again, Dan Hayes is talking about this and things like that, the Twins are looking to restructure a front office that grew exponentially in terms of resources and positions over the last 5 years. So remember, when Terry Ryan was running the front office in 2016 and got fired, the Twins were one of the they didn't have a huge scouting department. And not only did they not have a huge scouting department, just in terms of analytics and modern baseball thinking and just modern statistics and things like that, they were like dead last in terms of just their competency and how much they wanted to integrate that in their system. Then you hire Derek Falvey, who gets here for a couple of years. And then like in 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, like they start to like really invest in the front office and adding staff and kind of building out a robust system to try and advance, kind of to catch up with what the rest of baseball was doing. And now it kind of feels like that pendulum is swinging back in the other direction. And this is where it's the bad POHLAD thing of like, I get it if it's like, hey, we're trying to streamline a process, but we know it's not just that with these ownerships. We know it's more of a, we are going to shrink. We've been investing in this thing and we're trying to balloon it up. And now we feel like we need to not only right size the payroll, we also need to right size the front office. And this is the thing. It's not like they're cutting 5 players and they're saving $20 million on the salary cap. These are just people who, again, I don't know their salaries, but assume they're not making 6 figures doing this job, or maybe 7 figures. Like if they're making 6 figures, they're barely touching. You know what I mean? This is not like whoa, the team is really like going to save in the books. This is like a rounding error in firing some of the staff, but it just goes to show the direction of which the POHLADS again are being penny wise and pound foolish.
Yeah, they suck.
And this is the other thing too. This is if you're like, cutting payroll for the players is like one thing, because it's like, all right, fine. I think even without the POHLADS being into this, you could say like, it just felt like that's with Correa and the bullpen they built and a couple other guys, like it just wasn't going to work. Like you kind of found your ceiling and it's 85 wins and maybe you just need to take a step back and reload and figure it out. And that I think you could make a general baseball case for that I wouldn't agree with, but at least is like fair. And I think it is based in reason. This is just a sign of like you said, the Twins are treating it like they're lawn mowing shoes and like, do we have to pay all these guys? Can we just get him off the books? Like, what do we need to invest in this for anymore?
Well,
Let's
the part of it that sucks is that because sometimes we play the game, does this exist? Right? Like, just because the idea exists and is possibly even true doesn't mean that's what really happened. So I hate that, like, that very real theory exists in the universe, that the Twins were like, maybe they're maxed out, maybe all those things are true, and they were going to need to just kind of start over anyway. I hate that the organization can use that as the reason, because that's not why you did it. You're lying and saying this is why you did. Just like they're so dishonest about their intentions. That is part of this problematic nature now. Pretty bad ownership.
All right, that's enough of that. Let's have some fun, Corey. We did this last Friday, but we're kind of going to make this the Wednesday wheel. We kind of just have basically blind drafted. Last week we did Minnesota Vikings wide receivers. We had a list, and then we had kind of a couple less on that ranking list to make things interesting. And now we're doing Minnesota Vikings centers because there's not a lot of them.
Yeah, so this is a blind ranking. Tell me who I need to get this thing. Oh shoot, that's not it.
Spinning the wheel.
Yeah, and I'm spinning my own wheel right now. I want to share screen. Yeah, I want to share the screen. I want to share this screen. There we go. So this is a blind ranking. We're going to spin the wheel. I want you to tell me where the greatest Minnesota Vikings center rank without knowing who comes next.
All right. What is the total number of centers we have?
I have 8 on the wheel.
Okay.
And we are going to rank the top 5.
The top 5
are going to rank the top 5.
Yes, I will draft the top 5.
Are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
All right. I can't mute the wheel, so here goes nothing. The first center on your list, CJ, is
Pat Elflein. Yeah, Elflein was like a third-round pick by the Vikings out of Ohio State, became the team's starting center in 2017. I thought he was going to be a very nice center. I thought the team had it for years to come, and then it just kind of fell apart, and the team had to draft Garrett Bradbury only a couple years later. So a lot of things to think about in this one. He certainly was great in 2017 and just was not great after that. I certainly don't think he's the worst, but is he a top 5? I mean, he's got to go 5 on this list. He only had one good year. I'm going to have to put him at the bottom.
So I used AI to rank the best centers in Minnesota Vikings history. Pat Elflein, a third-round draft pick who started as a center and a rookie and showed promise. While his time with the Vikings was relatively short, he was a key piece of the line in the late 2010s. I will reveal the full list once we get through our top 5, but Pat Elflein goes on your blind ranking list at number 5. We spin the wheel again. And this time, we land. There he is.
Joe Berger. I thought it was going to land on John Sullivan for a second. It was like just lingering. Joe Berger, again, he played guard for that Vikings team in 2017 and was, again, just a really good piece. He's just kind of that, like, he was everybody's favorite backup lineman because he was never quite good enough to be a full-time starter all the time. But if you needed him for a month or two, he would fill in serviceably. I do think Joe Berger, because he had even though it wasn't always at center, he just had a better career longevity. I'm going to have to go with him at number 4.
Okay, AI says a versatile and reliable veteran who played both guard and center for the Vikings, a great leader and a consistent performer who could be counted on to step in and play at a high level. You put him at number 4. I like it. Let's get him out of here and let's spin the wheel again.
Bum, bum, bum. Ba-na-na-na, bum, bum, ba-na-na-na, bum, bum, ba-na-na-na.
Bam. Matt Burke. Let me tell you about Matt Burke, CJ, before you get into this, all right?
All right.
We know a St. Paul native, a 6-time Pro Bowler with the Vikings, a model of consistency and a leader on the offensive line for over a decade, known for his intelligence and his ability to read defenses.
Yeah, he's a Harvard guy. So yeah, got the intelligence there. Obviously well-spoken. He's on K-Fan all the time. Matt Burke was a really nice player for the Vikings and won a Super Bowl with Baltimore at the end of his career. I'm going to go Matt Burke, number 2.
Matt Burke goes at number 2 on your list. Okay.
The center for the Vikings in 2009. So
far, by the way, I really like what you've been doing so far. I think I would have generally just kind of agreed with you. So you have number 1 and number 3 remaining as we spin the wheel again. I can't wait to reveal the all-time list. And this is my favorite one. I'm so happy this one came up. Steve Jordan. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Steve Jordan, a tight end for the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
So I had AI rank the top centers of all time in Vikings history. They gave me a list of 8, and I will tell you, name number 8 on that list, Steve Jordan. Here's what it says. Primarily known as a tight end, Jordan was a versatile player who also spent time at center and was a key blocker for the Vikings offense in the 80s and 90s. I did not know. I knew Steve Jordan. He's like an all-time great tight end in Vikings history and in NFL history. He's awesome. I had no idea that maybe he started as a center.
Yeah, I did not know center at all. I knew his son was Cam Jordan of the New Orleans Saints, of course. But yeah, I did not know he played center. By nature, if I can't put him number 1, he's got to go number 3.
He just has to go, and that just stinks when we do the blind ranking that you have to put him there because you have a tight end at your number 3 center all time in Vikings history.
Look, Pat Elflein only had 1 good year as a starter, so this list isn't. He might not have that crazy of a chance, although going in front of Joe Berger, maybe not.
So we're down to 4 left. There's
until it ends up being Garrett Bradbury.
No, let's see if we can get who we all know is the number 1 center in Vikings history, and it's not going to happen.
It's not even going to be close.
It's not even going to be close. It is going to land on Jeff Firkser. Let me tell you about Jeff, okay?
Yeah,
Vikings in the 60s and early 70s, played a role in the teams that went to the Super Bowl.
That's fair. So at least he's had some good success. He's got to go number 1 on this list, but we all know it's Mick Tingelhoff.
Mick Tingelhoff is absolutely the number 1. I'm going to stop sharing this and I'll come back over. Let me tell you now, CJ, and let's run through this list. Okay. You have Jeff Firkser at number 1. Okay. The internet has him at number 6. Okay. At number 2, you have Matt Burke, which is exactly where the internet has him. You did a great job putting Matt Burke where he was supposed to be. At number 3, you have Steve Jordan. He's number 8 on the all-time list. All right. Number 4 is our buddy Joe. That's exactly where the internet has him. Very good job. And at number 5, you have Pat Elflein, CJ. That's where the internet has him as well.
Really?
Yep.
Center has been that bad for the Vikings, huh?
Well, I mean, he's 5th on a list of 8 players all time and really 7th. So, like, is being a top 5 center in Vikings history really that impressive?
No, it's like being a top Vikings quarterback on a list not with Fran Tarkenton on it.
So let me tell you where these other guys fall here really quickly, who we missed out on. We'll start with John Sullivan.
I really like John Sullivan. He was a very nice center.
Yeah, John Sullivan's number 3 on this list. Dominant force at the center position for the Vikings from 2008 to 2014. First team All-Pro in 2012, a year in which he was the anchor for the offensive line that paved the way for Adrian Peterson's 2,097-yard rushing season. So he's number 3 on this list. Next, we need to talk about Garrett Bradbury. Garrett Bradbury's number 7 on the all-time list. Whatever. Just his best thing they say is he's a consistent presence on the line.
I mean, he was undersized, and anytime he faced a big D tackle, he got pushed back. But he was there was a stability there of him being there for like 6 years. So
sure, yes, totally. And number one, of course, is the Hall of Famer Mick Tingelhoff, the greatest center in franchise history. Started 240 consecutive regular season games, a 6-time Pro Bowl selection, 5-time first-team All-Pro. And he was, part of 4 Super Bowl teams. So AI has Tingelhoff, Burke, Sullivan, Berger, Elflein, Fursker, Bradbury, and Jordan. CJ has Fursker, Burke, Jordan, Berger, and Elflein.
I guess.
Good. That's why these blind rankings are fun, because what can you do?
Very non-controversial, but again, how controversial can you get about Vikings centers?
No, I mean, the only thing you could have done differently here, the only thing, and to avoid any sort of is you don't know. We always have more names than the people we're ranking.
Right.
Maybe you should have just put Matt Burke number 1 and dealt with the consequences of that.
Right.
And then you could have had, then Ferkser's at number 2. Okay. You were going to be stuck with Jordan at number 3, no matter what you did.
Right.
Or just to leave myself some room, I'm going to start Elflein at 5 or at 4 instead, just in what can you do? It's a blind ranking.
What can you do? Yeah. All right. This is fun. What do we got next week? Are we leaving that up to suspense?
Well, we could do running backs. We could do
Vikings backup quarterbacks if Carson Wentz has a great game.
Well, I'll have to see what AI can come up with. Maybe we use the Vikings game as an indicator for how we should skew the wheel for the next time around.
Yeah, I think so. I think that works. If Will Reichard misses a kick, we'll have top 5 Viking or kicks a game winner. We could do Vikings kickers.
Even do all time. What's his number? Isn't it like a stupid number?
It's 16. It was 46 last preseason, but it's 16.
So yeah, you could do all time number 16s in Viking history, or what? We have a lot of options.
There's a lot. We got a cornucopia.
Yeah, I think we'll take the cues from this Vikings, this Sunday's Viking game, and let that lead into our wheel of not ideal, as the guys on Good would say.
Wheel of not ideal. All right, morning sports desk powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. Go check out those new hot honey barbecue wings, given the seal of approval by Mr. Tackman himself. We'll see you tomorrow.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.